Cousins, Audio Moni here. Welcome back to the crib. Hope everybody is having a good one, a great start to the work week. It's Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Please do me a favor and smash that like button for me if you can. It helps us get into the algorithm. It helps us get some new cousins to join the family. So please smash that like button for me and subscribe to the channel if you are here for the first time as we are on our way to 30K. So today, y'all, let's get into this mess, cousins. Let's get into this mess. So apparently, um, the the Clipse is exposing that UMG and Def Jam tried to block a Kendrick Lamar feature from being on their new album, Let God Sort 'Em Out. It's coming out, I believe, July 11th. And the brothers who are back together after a long hiatus, they split up. I think they split up around 2010 or whatever. Malice decided to, go his separate ways. He decided to invest in his relationship with religion, and Pusha T set out to continue to, do his thing rapping and all that. But the brothers are back together and they hit up GQ Hype where they talk about love, where they talk about hate and what's rap been missing, including UMG trying to block this Chains and Whips feature that was supposed to include Kendrick Lamar. So if y'all remember back in 2023, um, Pusha T and Malice, they walked in Pharrell's Louis Vuitton um, spring summer collection. And during that, they featured their new song, Chains and Whips.
Just get rich, choke my neck, nigga, and ice my bitch. Beat the system with chains and whips.
So the brothers, like I said, they walked in the fashion show and this song was playing. Everybody was like, "Ah, what's that? What's that? Like we need more of that because it sounds like a fire song." Um, and then later on down the line, we ended up finding out there's supposed to be a Kendrick Lamar verse because someone posted it and they received a copyright strike, which included Kendrick Lamar's name in the song. So everybody's like, "Oh, where the fuck is the song? Like, we need this song." And Pusha T and Malice are like, "We were trying to get this song out, but UMG blocked it." So let's get to this article with GQ. Again, they're talking love, hate was what rap's been missing. After more than 15 years apart, the brothers are back together with new Pharrell Williams produced album that ranks with their most potent produced product ever, and they're ready to go on record about Kanye, Drake, and the state of the game. Shout out to Fraser Thought for this article, and also shout out to Eric Johnson for the photography. The brothers, they're talking about various things, and the main thing, of course, that stuck out to us and why we're actually here is if you'd expected the album last year, the brothers sympathized because they also expected the album last year. Pusha says they felt confident, they were proud in the project that they put together, especially after being apart for a while. Um, they presented it to Def Jam, the label. They loved it. They loved what they heard, except when it came for the Kendrick Lamar guest verse on Chains and Whips, the final version of the song that Pharrell teased at his first LV runway show. Um, Pusha says was the first to come out of their session. So this was the first song that they had for the album, the Chains and Whips song featuring Kendrick Lamar. The first song, they was ready to go. They was ready to drop it. But Def Jam had other plans um, for the song. They did not want them to release this song with Kendrick Lamar. So the article continued, but after the summer of the beef between their two biggest artists that resulted in a still ongoing lawsuit from Drake, Def Jam's parent company UMG, blanched at the antagonistic optics of two of Drake's biggest enemies linking on wax. Pusha calls their apprehension stupid, primarily because none of the bars in Kendrick's otherwise excellent verse could really be perceived as a shot or even a subliminal. It does, however, contain the stellar line. Therapy taught me how to open up. It also showed me I don't give a fuck. You know, that's a big thing. People say, oh, how can you go through Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers and then you come back and write something like Meet the Grands where you saying you wish this nigga would die? Easily. Easily. It's not hard. He showed us. It's not hard. But anyway, Pusha can barely contain his disgust, recounting how the stalemate with Def Jam played out. They wanted me to ask Kendrick to censor his verse, which of course I was never doing. Real nigga. Why the fuck will Pusha T go to Kendrick Lamar and say, hey, Def Jam is asking you to censor your verse because we don't want to get Drake upset. We don't want to get into any more legal trouble. Fuck out of here. No, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. And then they wanted me to take the record off. And so after a month of not doing it, Stephen Gawley, the lawyer over there, was like, "We'll just drop the clips. But that can't work because I'm still there solo. But if you let us all go, dot dot dot." Sure enough, Def Jam eventually agreed to release the clips and drop Pusha as a solo artist, freeing the duo up to shop for a new home with a finished clip album and plenty more music in their pockets. Ultimately, Pusha says the endeavor was gratifying. It felt good to even see how other labels were buying for the project. Now, as they teased last week with the picture in front of the labels playing insignia, they've ended up at Jay-Z's Rock Nation, where they feel fully supported and energized. I think that synergy, just in a rap sense, is going to speak volumes, Pusha T says of the partnership. So y'all, these motherfuckers was willing to drop Pusha T in the clips just to avoid Kendrick Lamar having a feature on their album. That don't sound crazy. Like that that's not mind blowing. Like that's blowing my mind. Like I knew before, like I've already said it before that Drake is over there throwing his weight around. Drake has consistently got what he want from UMG when it comes to other artists. He has been able to tell them what can go and what can't go. When he was in the battle with Pusha T and the story of Adidon came out, they got that taken down. Jay-Z ain't have nothing to do with it, but they got that taken down. They got that taken down, citing some bullshit. And then when Pusha T would go and do verses with other artists, it would never be able to happen. So Drake was able to diss him on songs. Pusha T responded to the disses on songs, but the songs would never be able to reach its fulfillment and be put out. And that's because UMG was giving this nigga what the fuck he wanted. With Meek Mill, you go at it with Meek Mill, but then they're telling Meek Mill, oh no, don't say that. Oh, don't do that. Don't put this out. But meanwhile, this nigga could do and say whatever the fuck he want. He literally tried to do the same thing with Kendrick Lamar during this battle. He wanted UMG to put a muzzle on Kendrick Lamar while he was able to put out Family Matters where he accused this man of beating his wife. It's a pattern. We're seeing a pattern here. And I don't understand how people on the opposite side don't notice this. They brag about him being able to walk into UMG and cut the lights off and turn the lights on and do whatever it is that he wants. But they want to turn a blind eye to the fact that this man think he can punch people in the mouth and they're not allowed to punch him back in the mouth. So now UMG, because they're scared, they want to tell Kendrick Lamar to censor himself on the new Clipse project, and Pusha T, like a real nigga, said, fuck you. No, we're not doing that. And if we can't move forward, drop us. And I don't mean just us as in the clips. No, drop me too as Pusha T. So let me go where we don't need to be censored. This is crazy. This is pathetic. This is ridiculous. This is not hip hop. This is not what this is. This is feeding the ego of a childlike Karen who always gets his way, who throws dirt, hides his hand, and then calls the big JEW Lucian to fix his battles. How is this okay? How does this make sense to anybody? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. So now officially, the Clipse, Pusha T, and Malice are doing business with Roc Nation. Roc Nation is gonna be who's gonna distribute their latest project that's coming out in July. And again, like this is just wild. So continuing on with the article, it says so if they're now officially doing business with The Rock, and the Kendrick verse was never the feature Pusha T kept alluding to holding out for. So again, that's another thing. Pusha T, dating back a while ago, he was on interviews. He was just saying like he was waiting for a verse from somebody very important, and everybody was assuming that it was Kendrick Lamar. But turns out Kendrick Lamar had already put his verse in last year. The verse is ready to go. All they gotta do is upload and hit send. So Pusha T continued to allude that we're also waiting for another verse, and everybody again, was saying Kendrick Lamar, but maybe it could be Jay Z. Maybe the verse could be from Jay Z. I don't know. That would be fire. That's the only other option if you're waiting for a verse. Like who was so important for Pusha T to wait for a verse for? It has to be either Kendrick Lamar or Jay Z, but they're saying no. Kendrick Lamar already turned his shit in. So yeah, um, that's what he said about the Kendrick Lamar situation. Ironically, if anybody deserves a speeding ticket for antagonizing other rappers on chains, it's Pusha, whose verse is not so thinly veiled response to veteran Dipset rapper Jim Jones. So Pusha T is allegedly taking shots at Jim Jones also on this verse. Honestly, I don't think Pusha T should be taking shots at Jim Jones. Jim Jones is not worth taking shots at. He's not worth taking shots at all. They continue on in the article and they talk about Drake as well. Um, it says one foe who definitely isn't getting any more Pusha time. At press time, though, Drake, the sixth guy, famously bowed out of their 2018 Memorial Day weekend bout just as it was getting good when Push forever altered the perception of diss tracks by backing his up with forensic evidence like a legal investigator. Drake infamously let things fizzle out before dropping an album with the lines like never a matter of could I, should I, as luck would have it. I've settled into my role as the good guy. But before the events of last spring, Drake had been spending a lot of time on wax, practically begging Pusha to get back in the ring. Practically in 2023, when he made a music video wearing all of classic Pharrell jewelry pieces that Pete auction off in swagless fashion, bragged on Travis Scott Meltdown that he would destroy those girls without a care, and claimed that he could post up in Virginia anytime on his own For All the Dogs album, where he also taunted a rapper going broke amidst a refrain of empty clips. In the years since they battled, Drake has done everything to complicate the good guy image he once gamely upheld. Dogs even sampled the Scarface bad guy clip. See, this nigga gets to go around taunting people, saying what he would and wouldn't do, bragging about uh wearing somebody's jewelry that they auctioned off because they did not want and wanted to use the money for charity. Like, it's pathetic. Push heard the taunts, and much like when I asked him a similar question 3 years ago, he could not care less. I think after everything that has been done, I don't think there was ever anything subliminal to be said ever again in life. Not only just musically, like, bro, I actually was in Canada. I actually had a show and made it home. So I can't pay attention to none of that. I did the dance for real, not to come back and tiptoe around anything. So you would only ever engage again if he went full tilt. Man, I would only engage if I felt like it. Period. Period. I can't even be mad at that. Because why are we beating around the bush? Like, nigga, say it with your chest if you got smoke for me. Say it with your chest. And you bragging about wearing a nigga's chains and melting them down, which you lied about, does nothing for me because you pay for those chains. You are a fan. You are a fan, just like you were a fan when you were peddling through eBay listings and you bought a signed Pusha T microphone back in the day, like you are a fan of Pusha T, the Clipse, and Pharrell Williams Drake. There's nothing you can do or nothing you can say that will change anything. The article continued earlier when discussing Def Jam clutching their pearls over Clipse Kendrick record. Pusha said it all reminded him too much of 2018, weighing in on Drake and Kendrick's ongoing feud, namely Drake's decision to sue UMG over releasing Not Like Us. Pusha elaborates on what he meant. I will say this, Pusha says, admitting he's no bar approved counselor with intimate knowledge of the suit. If Drake's adamant to have a lawsuit, it's only because he knows all the things that they did to suppress everything that was happening around Adidon. Come on, Push. Clock it. Clock it, Push. And the verses in the record and things that were happening back then. He alludes to instances in which he says label machinations muddled, if not outright, nixed the release of verses in which Pusha talked his shit next to people closely affiliated with Drake, as he did on the Rick Ross Lil Wayne's Maybach Music Volume 3 and post-actively released Pop Smoke song with Young Thug. I literally just said this. Literally just said this. I don't rate him no more, Pusha says of Drake's off-wax antics. The suing thing is bigger than some rap shit. I just don't rate you. Damn, it's like it just kind of cheapens the art of it. Once we gotta have real questions about suing and litigation. Like, what for this? Come on. Come on. It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. But let me know your thoughts, cousins. Down in the comment section below. Have you listened to the Clipse new project, Ace and Trumpets? Let me know your thoughts on that. Also, let me know your thoughts of Def Jam and UMG getting scared and trying to block this feature to the point that the Clipse had to say, drop me and let us go, and we can go somewhere else who's not going to be scared to put this project out. Let me know your thoughts. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch y'all in my next one. Later.